Hi, I'm Ron Nutter, and welcome to another edition, or actually the special series within the Tech Bites with Ron Nutter channel, and that's the Christmas gift guide. This is part 3. I've got several more to work with. I was hoping to be a little further along prior to Black Friday and Cyber Monday, but some things called life got in the way. This time we're going to talk about something that I initially didn't see me getting, but you've been watching my videos enough, you'll know I kind of like to have the tech toys, and this one started out as that and really has surprised me. And I am talking about the Osmo Pocket camera. Or it's just I'm still getting used to this one, and I've been impressed. This is a as you can see, very compact camera. I'm going to hold it a different way here so you can see it a little bit better. Now it's going to be powered off, and I'm keeping it that way because I'm going to be trying some different things in front of you, so I don't have to worry about possibly causing some damage with the gimbal system. Now, this is something that just about anybody can use. You have adapters that come with it, which I have removed the one, and here's mine right over here. I primarily use this with my Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus, so I keep the micro USB adapter normally right in front, but I've got it taken out, and you'll see why here in just a moment. They also send the one for the Apple phones, so you have your choice. This is not you have to make a decision one way or the other. I primarily use it with the Samsung S9. It's a little newer generation than my Apple 6 Plus. 6 Plus S, whatever. It's the big screen one. But this, on a recent trip, I took this and I took my good old trusty Canon Vixia camcorder. The camcorder never came out of the back the entire trip. I started to bring it out one day, and I was trying to travel as light as I can. So if you do a lot of traveling, or you know someone who does, this really, you can't get much better than this one. Yes, it does have a small screen, but when you match it up to your camera, and it will look something like this when they're together, then you have a big screen right here. So they've tried to economize, can't even talk right here, on real estate as much as possible. And I have done quite a bit of shooting with just the small viewfinder, the screen that's in here. There are so many things you can do with this and accessories that's all this one video is going to do. And I'm just truly amazed. This can shoot in 4K, which makes this even more special. I initially started shooting in just HD. Didn't want to really have to buy a lot of big SD cards. So I thought, well, my channel's in HD and I'll just stay with HD. I've since gone to 4K, and I'm not looking back, because this way it's future-proofing my video. So as I do make the transition to 4K, this is already there, and eventually I'll make the changes to some of my other cameras and to get them to 4K as well. But very compact. There's a lot of accessories you can get for it, and I'm going to show you the ones I've personally bought. None of this items in this video are sponsored. The companies don't know I'm doing this, but I put my money where my mouth is. Now, one of the first things you'll want to get, and this is from the folks at PolarPro, is they've got a little cage you can buy for it. Now, you say, why do I need a cage for the camera? Well, number one, heaven forbid you drop this, Jim. This will give you a little bit of insulation, at least a chance that you're not going to really just mess up the camera, but good. But the main thing is you have a 1/4-20 mount here and a 1/4-20 mount here. So you can put it on a regular tripod, because that's been one of the biggest criticisms of the Osmo Pocket, is that, well, there's no mount. But I've seen somebody do a teardown video of this, and there is no room on the inside, and I'd rather have this fairly compact. Now, this is very easy to use. Now, there's a little release clip here. Let me get over here where you can see it. I'll open that up, and then literally it's just a matter of, and I'm trying to do this in reverse, slide this in here, and then I come around here on the back, and you'll lock the clip in. And okay, I didn't do it right, but here, There, now it's in, so it's not moving. So, and this actually makes it, to me, a little bit easier to handhold, because I've got bigger hands, so it gives me kind of a little bit more to wrap around. When I'm shooting outside, I like to have this on there just for, it adds a little bit of protection. Now, while I do keep the Osmo Pocket supplied case handy, I usually only do that at the end of the day. There is a gimbal lock piece, and there are links in the description for all of these items that I'm talking about. They have what's called a gimbal lock. And yes, is it just a piece of plastic? Yeah. Could you, with a 3D printer, do your own? Well, yeah, maybe. If you got your own 3D printer, you're probably not going to be looking at some of these items. But the nice thing is this goes right on the front, and I'm going to move the head around just a little bit here, and I'm going to have to clean the lens when I'm through. But this slides right on up front, and you can see it's going to literally locks the head right in place. So now, this is prevented from, snapping around. It takes a little bit of pressure off it. It keeps it from having to worry about the lens getting fingerprinted, heaven forbid, scratched. But so if you want even more protection, then you're pretty much going to have to go back to this. But when I'm doing shooting out in the daylight or outside, this is very handy, and I use this quite a bit. Now, you can, when you're adjusting the gimbal, you can scroll up and down, but it's kind of hard to go side to side. And this is where one of the other items from DJI Osmo for the Pocket, the controller wheel, comes in. And this is where the PolarPro case really works out very beautifully, because you see I left the little interface port open. So all you do is we'll come in here and you just slide this in and push it all the way, and you'll hear it kind of click a little bit. So now you have full control of the gimbal. So you can either go up and down, and all that's controlled by this little button right here that shifts it. Let me turn toward the light a little bit. There we go. So in one position, you'll have the head going up and down. Another position, you go this way. So you've got pretty much full control of this one. And it really, you can do some things that I've not been able to get the screen interface to let me do, and do some nice, smooth, butter smooth pans on a wide area. So that really, that's the way I was using it most of the time when I was on a recent trip. And I may put some of the videos up, but given the way that some of the copyright stuff is kind of getting controlled, they may never go public. Now, another thing that you're going to want to look at is getting better audio. And there are a plethora of options there. But again, I'm trying to keep this, you'll hear the term run and gun, trying to keep this fairly compact. So I found this little Saramonic mic. Again, the links are in the description. And it's not the fanciest, it's not the most expensive, but it's not the cheapest. But the handy thing is you can put this at about a 90-degree angle. So you now have a very decent external microphone. But then comes the problem, okay, how do I get this plugged in? Because it has a USB-C port. This is an area where I got the DJI Osmo audio adapter. So it's got the USB-C, and it's got the 3.5 millimeter on the bottom. So that just plugs right in, snaps in there, and then I put the mic firm in. And if I'm doing a talking video, I can have the mic pointed to me. I can very easily turn it right around. Now, I don't always carry it like this, but when I'm not actively recording, I just pull the whole assembly out, and that way it's ready to go. I'm not plugging a bunch of things in. And the next you're going to say, well, how do I keep all this stuff together? Well, if you have a family member or friend who has to take a lot of medicine, see if you can get some of these pill containers from the pharmacy. And if you have a friend who's a pharmacist that may give you some of these, you'll want to get some of the larger ones, because then you can put several of the accessories in here. I label what it is. In fact, I've got another one it's down in the bag. I'm not going to get it out. So if there's anything specific, I will label what on there that it is. Oh, I've got two different sizes, so I know the little ones for the mic and some of the other small items I put on there, and then the larger one is for the PolarPro case that's on here and the gimbal lock. Now, one other thing you'll want to look at, and you don't have to get all this at once. Now, I got it over a course of several months, didn't get as much testing time as I would have liked, but that's some of the fun you get to have on vacation. There are a series of neutral density filters and circular polarizers you'll want to look at. And there is a whole host of discussion on these things, and you can get very confused. Now, I had a series of Nikon cameras over the years, so I'd had circular polarizers, I'd had neutral density, so I kind of understood what was going on. But with the Osmo Pocket, I wasn't sure how quite to do it. The sensor in here can get overwhelmed very quickly in bright out of doors. And I got a whole series of recommendations, some of which didn't quite make sense to me. But to their credit, I reached out to the folks at PolarPro, and they really helped explain it. Now, you've got a series of filters that are neutral density, and then you've got some that are neutral density plus polarizer. And I went for the combo of neutral density plus polarizer. Now, you're going to see labels on here. Now, this is something I did. If you end up getting these, trust me, go ahead and take a label maker and save yourself some grief. And they're very nice cases. Both PolarPro and the Freewell are two good options to work with. I did get just a circular polarizer option, and that, if you have never dealt with one before, if you are, say, shooting indoors and there's reflection on a glass, the circular polarizer will actually kind of let you take that glare out. So it's like you're looking right through the glass and not having to see anything. So that's where it comes into play. And it really is, it's probably one of the first things I would go get. Now, if you're shooting a lot outdoors, I didn't shoot as much on this last trip as I thought, but I wanted to be prepared. So then you'll see there's a whole host of range of the neutral density, and you can buy just the neutral density filters, or you can buy neutral density / polarizer. And I opted for the combo. You'll see ND4, ND8, ND16, ND32, and they even make a 64, and there's even an ND1000. And I don't really see the need for the 1000 at this point. Here's what the good folks at PolarPro said with the best way to use it. You may hear the term golden hour shooting, and that's when an hour just as the sun's coming up and the hour just as it's going down. So if you're shooting like sunsets or you're having some reflection issues, that's kind of the minimum neutral density. Now, more into mid-morning or late afternoon, you'll step up to the ND8. That's going to give it a little, knock down the light going into it, the Osmo Pocket, a little bit more. Now, during noontime, the ND16 is probably what you'll need to use. Now, if you where I was, which I was in Florida, the folks at PolarPro said, well, you'll probably want to get the ND32 because the closer you get to the equator, the brighter it's going to be. So you don't want to have too much light in there. And you can tell very quickly, there's an option setting that you'll find out about in the Osmo Pocket that will tell you, you'll see like zebra stripes. You may hear the term zebra. That's where it'll do like a white and black repeating pattern. And if you see that, then there's too much light coming into the sensor. So what will happen is your colors won't be as good. And now I shoot mostly on automatic. I've done a lot of manual with other cameras. At this point, I want to enjoy more getting the picture I want. I'm not so concerned for right now getting exact cinematic functionality. So with having the ND4 and the polarizer, it makes it a little bit easier. So there's Freewell and Osmo Pocket, and PolarPro are good ones. These are cases with a magnetic catch on them, so you don't have to worry about this flopping open in your camera bag. And there's a photographer's vest that I carry with me, so I've got things kind of squirreled in all over the place, and that makes it easier to keep up with. And especially if it's very bright outside, having this label like that is going to make it so much easier. And the Osmo Pocket, I've had this for several months now, used it on a couple of trips, and I've been very happy with it. You will see listings for an audio adapter that is other from DJI Osmo. Short story, don't get it. This one works. Is it a little expensive? Yes, there is some money supposedly to be saved by going with the non-DJI one, but on something like this is important enough. I didn't want to have a problem. This is a decent mic. It's compact. I've got a wireless mic that I've started using, and it's from a well-known company. I'm going to use it a little bit more, but had it out the other day and was very pleased with the audio. So I'm trying not to have a lot of wires and stuff running around. So this really is very straightforward, and this is a very flexible, functional system. Now, it does have an internal battery, and that is, for some people, one criticism is that you can't replace the battery. I've been able to go 4 or 5 hours shooting. Now, if you're shooting in 4K, it is going to deplete the battery a little bit faster. But if I've got, say, 15, 20 minutes downtime, I'll pull out the USB battery, plug it in, have this turned off so it gets maximum charge. And I can usually add about half of the battery life back to it. So if you've got somebody who really enjoys shooting videos, now this can shoot stills, but that's not where its strong suit is. You want to have this for shooting the video, and you can make it 4K, you can make it HD. It's very flexible to what your needs are. So if you're looking for something for somebody for Christmas or another holiday or birthday, once you get the Osmo Pocket, then it's going to be, that's going to be your biggest expense. And with Black Friday, Cyber Monday coming up, and sometimes you'll see Amazon pull a special. This one I saved, what was that, $40 or $50. Amazon ran a special price one day that they did the discounting, not the company who is selling it on Amazon. So it's just, and all I'm looking at the deals, and if you've got the Amazon credit card, there's some special financing offers you'll see. You can also order it directly from the folks at DJI. But this is a very flexible, very compact camera. So far, I've been very pleased with it. They do release some periodic software updates. It takes just a few minutes to get them installed. So they're doing a good job. They've addressed several features, function issues since it first came out. This has been out for a little over a year, so it's not like this just came out the door a few weeks ago. It's, I would say, worked well on its way to becoming a mature camera, and it's well worth considering. And with having the 2/4 20 mounts on here, and I'm working on some other ideas. I'm actually thinking of starting a business using this, but I'm still very much in the early stages of that. So there is quite a bit that you can do with this, and it's got the ability to grow as you grow. Now, you're probably going to have to set up some accounts. There's one on DJI to get to their forums, and that's where you'll want to get the checklist that I've got up here. There's a link in the description. Go ahead and get this. That will help you keep track of all the accounts that you'll be creating with some of these items, and will help you remember what you need to write down. And when you start putting this in a password manager, what you need to get taken care of there as well, so you don't get locked out of some of your accounts. So this is a very handy camera. It's more, I don't want to call it just a camera. It's a video device, and the quality of it is very good. So if you've never looked at a DJI drone, this essentially is, they're using, as I understand it, a camera that's very close to that, but you don't have to buy the drone to get it. And this is something you can just have on a little carry bag, or if you want to get a small case for it, hard shell case that has foam in it. There's several of those to choose from, so you can have it with you and have it protected. And you may want to get several memory cards for it. So if you're out shooting quite a bit, and you could just pop one card up, put it in. You've already seen me in the first video talk about how I manage my memory cards. So that gets you started, and you really can't go wrong. I have been very impressed with this, and I'm still enjoying looking at some of the videos that I shot when I was on my recent trip. So enjoy this. These are, I mean, you'll see there's a whole lot of accessories with this, but on the other hand, these are the ones that I've culled through and bought personally. Like I said, none of this has been sponsored by anybody. I didn't ask for any discounts. Nothing got sent to me. I went and bought this all myself. So I've put my money where my mouth is. Hope you enjoy this. If you have some other things you'd like to see about the Osmo Pocket, please let me know. Would be happy to take a look at those for you. Like I said, I've got some other things in the works, and hopefully in the next few weeks, you'll see some more of those come out. And it's a very versatile device. So you will see that there's other videos that I have produced on this. I've got 2 other gift guides I've put out. I'm going to try to get out several more as the holidays approach. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, and would appreciate if you click the like button as well, because that helps me attract people who will possibly be able to work with companies to get other things coming in for the channel as well. So thank you for your time, and we'll see you again soon.